in this point. I couldn't agree with him more. I don't know what this is going to prove, but I couldn't agree with him more than that this is a pagan adaptation of the cross. But I fail to see what the Christian symbol being misrepresented has to do with anything. If you think these are bad, I mean, he should see the shameless use of the cross by the Church of Scientology. He even says that in early occult art, Jesus is portrayed as the sun. Listen, he says while showing this picture that in early occult art, Jesus is portrayed as the sun. But the Catholics and Protestants have stated that long time ago, that any portrayal of Christ with an orb of light behind him or with a halo is an insult to Christ because of its hidden meanings. So, there's no point proven here. He gave it a good try. Looking into things isn't this guy's strong point, so don't be that mad at him. And it's also important to note that all the pictures he uses look alike because they were all inspired by each other. He then says that Jesus is the Son, followed by Jesus is the Son of God. So he has, up to this point, completely kept saying that Son, S-O-N, comes from Son, S-U-N. And then this is where he just starts to get BF and ridiculous, because he then says, okay, so Jesus is the Son, followed by Jesus is the Son of God, and uses a quote from Jesus to justify his thoughts. He says, as long as he is in the world, he is the light of the world, and this is, of course, taken out of context, which is something atheists love to do when quoting from the Bible. Every contradiction that's ever been written on a website about the Bible is taken out of context and clearly justifies itself if read in context. And I mean, but I've never seen no one go as far as this kid did. I mean, wow. I mean, this part of the movie is just staggering. It's slam full of not just taking stuff out of context, but I mean just using everything to his advantage and lies. I mean, totally punked you people out. Jesus was explaining that he would only work his miracles that his Father gave him power to do in the daytime. Also in the Bible, Jesus never refers to himself as sunlight, ever. Neither does any of the apostles or any of his followers. Light refers to purity. He is the purest and most holy, and it especially means good. He is the most good. Also, this theory is busted because Jesus said while he is in the world. Later in the Bible, it says, we, his followers, are now the light of the world. We are to shine and let our good works reflect our new heart and rebirth in spirit through Christ, so those who don't have that light will wonder how to receive it. So, I guess, according to him, now, if that's the case, he didn't mention that, but since that's in the Bible, I guess now we're all little bitty sons, so now we're all like Attis and Horus and Dionysus, and, you know, it's just getting out of control, and it's a wonder the kid hasn't had a stroke. I mean, after this, he continues to completely, in every sense of the word, take Bible quotes out of context. I've already mentioned. The Bible is free online. To see how far he goes, go and check out the actual passage yourself. It's pretty entertaining, but I'll do a little bit for you. And this picture right here. Okay. Come on. He is saying during this one that Jesus, like the sun, will be born again every morning. And the quote he is using isn't even about Jesus. Nothing he is saying about Jesus is about Jesus. Because for whatever reason in his head, Jesus is literally the sun. And I thought Islam misrepresented Jesus. But this isn't about Jesus, this quote right here in the Bible. It's not even about him. Okay. And then, you know, this pic, he continues on with his statement with this pic saying, and can be seen coming on the clouds. Here, let me read to you what I mean by out of context. If this quote is Mark 13:26, I want to read. He is establishing that Jesus is the Son, and we'll use this quote to say that, and can be seen coming on the clouds. Let's read this in context. I just want to show you how ridiculous this is. Okay, if this is Mark 13:26, let me get the Bible that people that don't believe in God will refuse to acknowledge it has any legitimacy. Okay, I'm going to start at 13:23. So, this is 13:26. We'll go 3 verses back, okay? So don't think, oh God, I have to set through Sunday. No, just 3 verses. Jesus is talking about his return before the judgment. Listen carefully. But take ye heed. Behold, I have foretold you all things. But in those days, after that tribulation, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars of heaven shall fall, and the powers that are in heaven shall be shaken. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with great power and glory. And then shall he send his angels, and shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from the uttermost part of the earth to the uttermost part of heaven. He's trying to say that Jesus is calling himself the Son, and uses 13:26 to establish this. Mark 13:25 and the stars, 13:24. But in those days after that tribulation, the sun, S-U-N, shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light. There goes Horus and Set, people. And the stars of heaven shall fall. And there goes all their homies, I guess. I don't know what he calls the stars in his head. And the powers that are in heaven shall be shaken. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with great power and glory. Now, wouldn't you agree that he just used that statement out of context? Especially since he's trying to use that statement to say that Jesus said he is the Son, when literally 2 verses before that, as Jesus is talking about coming in the clouds, he says, when I come in the clouds, you best believe before I get there, I'm going to take away the sun and the moon and the stars. In other parts of the Bible, I think Revelation says that the sky will roll up like I can't remember the term they called it back then, but those things that you pull to cover sunlight, like in windows. I'm sorry, it will roll up like a papyrus or whatever, like a rolling thing, paper thing. I'm thinking about curtains. Anyways, yeah, in this picture, because you've probably already stopped watching it, and you're probably already laughing, but I'll continue just for fun, because I'm not kidding. I'm not gonna stop. The whole damn thing's a lie. Okay, with this one, he is inferring that he will be coming from heaven. Then shows this slide and continues to say, with a crown of thorns. Come the hell on. He shows a picture of the sun shining through trees. He takes another quote out of context, then takes one out of context and says that. And he will be coming from heaven. And then he shows this and says, and he will be wearing a crown of thorns. This quote about the thorns is not from when Jesus is talking about coming from heaven. When is it from? When Jesus is being brought out of the jail in front of the people. And where did the crown of thorns come from? Oh, that's right. While the Roman guards were torturing him, hitting him, spitting on him, calling him a king and mocking him, they said, oh, but the king needs a crown. And they shoved a crown of thorns on his head, and then they brought him out in front of the people. Completely out of context. Now, do you see what I mean when I sit down? Now, if you're an atheist, and you got upset, because I said that atheists like taking things out of context. If this guy that made this movie is a representative of y'all, can you really say that I'm wrong for saying that? Can you really? Come on. Makes you remember, about the crown of thorns. Makes you remember how much God loves you, because he sent his only begotten Son through to show you how much he loved you. He had to go through all this BS. And then, just to show that we don't deserve his love, we live in a world where we make a BS movie like Zeitgeist. We clearly show we don't deserve the love such as that, what he put his Son through. Just so that he can have a relationship with us. And this quote, he then elaborates on every time the word age is used in the Bible, and rambles about another incorrect theory about the stars. He talks about time periods, but in every example he shows the words